So we were discussing about the cell organelles, different types of cell organelles. So today we'll see children about mitochondria. Okay, so mitochondria is called as the powerhouse of the cell. Okay, so in this mitochondria, if you see the structure, it is a double membrane bound organelle. It has two membranes, inner membrane and outer membrane, and it has different folds in it, which are called as cristae. So these folds are they increase the area, they increase the surface area because it has to generate the ATP. It has to generate the power for energy. Power in the sense it needs energy, not the current supply. It needs power for to carry out. It needs energy to carry out different functions, which is being utilized by the cell. So this cristae, it increases the surface area. It has even it has the uh, I mean in the cell the mitochondria. Is there only one mitochondria inside the cell? There can be two or three mitochondria depending upon the necessity. So this mitochondria has one speciality that it has uh, so many, I mean, two or more. It has its own genetic material. Because of that, it can replicate itself. Okay, it can replicate itself. So it is a double membrane bound organelle, and it is found in most eukaryotic organisms. And it functions as sorry, it functions as a powerhouse of the cell, generating the energy uh, in the form, I mean, like glucose. If glucose is being observed by the cell, then it breaks down because directly we cannot utilize this sugars, I mean, the glucose directly we can't utilize. So it needs to be broken down to in the observable form. So this mitochondria, it helps to break down the glucose molecules into usable form of energy in the form of ATP, adenosine triphosphate. So this mitochondria, the word mitochondria, the term mitochondria is being derived from the Greek word mitos and chondrion, which means thread and granules like. Okay, it was being described by a German pathologist named Richard Altman. Once again, children, it was being described by a German pathologist in the year 1890. Okay, I think you all have received this. I have sent you the slides to for referring. Okay, I'll even show you the video for this, children, so that will be clear to you. So coming to structure of mitochondria, it is a double membrane rod-shaped structure which is found in both animal and plant cell. It ranges about zero point 0.5 to 1.0 micrometer in diameter. The structure comprises of outer membrane and inner membrane, and a jelly-like material called matrix is present inside it. The outer and inner membrane are made up of proteins and phospholipids. So here you can see it. One second. So the inner membrane is made up of proteins and phospholipid layers. Okay, they are separated by intermembrane space. So these two layers are being separated by intermembrane space. So the outer membrane covers the mitochondria and has large number of special proteins known as porins. So these are the proteins, these are special proteins to which make up the membrane, outer membrane of the mitochondria. It is freely permeable to ions. Ions can get inside, in and out freely because it must supply the energy, isn't it? So because of that, it is freely permeable for ions. nutrient molecules, energy molecules like ADP and ATP molecules. You'll be learning about this in detail. What is happening in this ATP? What is happening in ADP? You'll be learning in your higher classes, children. And now coming to cristae. So these cristae are the foldings which are present inside the mitochondria. So these folds are layered structures. These are the layered structures. They are being folded to increase the surface area inside the organelle. Okay, the cristae and the proteins of the inner membrane aids for the production of ATP molecules. So this increase in the surface area, it leads to the production of ATP molecules. Okay, ATP molecules are nothing but the energy currency. The inner membrane is strictly permeable only to oxygen. It is strictly permeable only for oxygen, the inner membrane, and to ATP molecules. Other molecules will not enter. It will not allow. The inner membrane will not allow other uh, other type of materials. Only it is permeable to oxygen and ATP molecules. A number of chemical reactions takes place within the inner membrane of mitochondria. So there are so many reactions which are taking place in this conversion of glucose into ATP. So there are a number of chemical reactions which are taking place. So because of that, only it is permeable to oxygen. Okay. So this was about cristae, and still a little more information has been given for you about the mitochondrial matrix. So this matrix is nothing but the fluid which is present inside the mitochondria. So this fluid, this mixture, in this so many enzymes and proteins are present. It is a mixture of enzymes and proteins, and it also comprises of, once again, it is a mixture of enzymes and proteins. I'm highlighting the important points, children. So here if you see, it also comprises of ribosome, inorganic ions, mitochondrial DNA, nucleotide cofactors, and organic molecules also present in this. Just 1 second, children. I'll admit everyone. So in this viscous mixture, in this viscous fluid, which is present inside the mitochondria, in this mixture, there are lots of enzymes and proteins are present. And also it comprises of ribosome, inorganic ions, mitochondrial DNA, nucleotide, okay, organic molecules, etc. are present inside this jelly-like material. So this matrix, this fluid, plays an important role in synthesis of ATP molecules. ATP is nothing but the energy currency, okay? So all these things, all the enzymes which are present inside this matrix play an important role in synthesis of ATP molecules, okay? So now coming to function of mitochondria. What are the functions of, what functions do this mitochondria do? It is the most important functions of mitochondria is producing the energy through the process called oxidative phosphorylation. So it's being a little more much deep in the topic. We are going in deep, but no need of going that much deep. So I'll just want to tell you the main function of mitochondria is to produce energy. Okay. It regulates the metabolic activities. It regulates the metabolic activities. It promotes the growth of new cells and cell multiplication. It promotes the growth of new cells and it produces energy. This much is enough for you, okay, to remember. Once again, I'll share this once again.
Ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Mitochondria. Mitochondria are also called chondriosomes, having sausage shape or broad shape. It is present in almost all cells except prokaryotic cells and mature red blood cells. Each mitochondrion is bounded by double membrane which is composed of lipoprotein. The space between the two membranes are called perimitochondrial space.
Just 1 second, children.
Mitochondria. Mitochondria are also called chondriosomes, having sausage shape or broad shape. It is present in almost all cells except prokaryotic cells and mature red blood cells. Each mitochondrion is bounded by double membrane which is composed of lipoprotein. The space between the two membranes are called perimitochondrial space. The inner wall of mitochondria produce certain infoldings called cristae. It increases the surface area. The mitochondrial membrane contains a rough surface. The cristae contains a semi-fluid medium in which DNA and enzymes of the Krebs cycle are found. Some of these enzymes are formed by vitamins such as riboflavins, B2, nicotinamide, niacin, and pantothenic acid. Functions: carry out cellular respiration and produce energy in the form of ATP. They supply energy to the cells. The enzymes of mitochondria are used for cellular respiration and the energy is released, and hence they are called power plants or power homes of the cell. Energy from the food molecule is converted into usable energy and stored as ATP, adenosine triphosphate molecules, which are used by body cell.
Yes, children. I hope you all have. I'll show you the video for chloroplast. After showing the video, it will be clear to you. And then we'll discuss about the different parts of the chloroplast also. Okay? Just 1 second. I'll just keep this slide with for you.
No.
Chloroplast's structure. At the end of this module, you will be able to describe the ultrastructure of chloroplasts. Chloroplasts are membrane-bound organelles that act as the main centers for photosynthesis. The number of chloroplasts varies widely in different plants. For example, in green algae like Chlamydomonas and Spirogyra, the number of chloroplasts present in each cell remains constant. In higher plants, the number of chloroplasts varies from cell to cell. Each cell may have 30 to 200 chloroplasts. Although the size of chloroplasts varies from plant to plant, chloroplasts are generally 4 to 5 micrometers in size. Also, plants growing in shade contain larger chloroplasts in their cells than those growing in intense light. Chloroplasts also differ in shape, being plate-shaped in chlorella, cup-shaped in Chlamydomonas, ribbon-shaped and spirally coiled in Spirogyra, and star-shaped in Zygnema. In higher plants, most chloroplasts are nearly spherical or ovoidal in shape. Like most organelles in a eukaryotic cell, chloroplasts are surrounded by a bilayered membrane called chloroplast envelope and are disc-shaped. While the outer membrane is freely permeable to molecules, the inner membrane is selectively permeable and contains many transporters, such as the integral membrane proteins, which regulate the passage of small molecules like sugars in and out of the chloroplast. The inner membrane encloses a protein-rich ground substance called stroma. The fluid in the stroma contains a host of enzymes, plastid DNA, RNAs, and ribosomes. Within the stroma is another membrane system called the thylakoids. The three-membrane system divides chloroplasts into three distinct internal compartments. 1. The intermembrane space between the inner and outer membranes of the chloroplast envelope. 2. The stroma, which lies inside the envelope but outside the thylakoid membrane. And 3. The thylakoid lumen. The thylakoid membrane is a network of membrane-bound flattened discs called thylakoids, which are arranged in stacks called grana. The membranes of thylakoids are called fret membranes, and the grana are interconnected by tubular membranes called the intergranal lamellae. Each chloroplast may contain 10 to 30 granal clusters with a single granum comprising about 20 to 60 thylakoids. The thylakoid membranes are made up of 20 to 30% lipids and 70 to 80% proteins. They also contain a large number of granular structures embedded in the membranes. These granules are called quantasomes. Quantasomes are responsible for capturing photons of solar electromagnetic radiation and act as photosynthetic units. The larger granules are called photosystem II or PS2, and the smaller granules are known as photosystem I or PS1.
Yes, sure. About this, if we just discuss in detail about this chloroplast, they have different types of plastids. So these plastids, there are 4 types of plastids, as we have already discussed. Like they have different functions, like chloroplast, chromoplast, uh, granatoplast, leucoplast, etc. So here in this picture, you can see the types of plastids. So they have different functions. Like chloroplast, it is a green color. It has green color pigment. So it is helpful for the photosynthesis. It captures the sunlight, isn't it? So if you see the different functions of this chloroplast, it is biconvex shape, semi-porous, double membrane. I'm just giving this information for your knowledge, children. No need to get worried about it that we have to learn so much. It's just for your knowledge sake. No need to worry about that. So this chloroplast, I'm just talking about the different functions of this chloroplast, different functions of this plastids. The types, what are the types? It's just for your knowledge sake. So please remember it for your future. I mean, in your higher classes, it may come. So coming to chloroplast, they help in synthesis of, they help in the process of photosynthesis. Okay. So coming to chromoplast. Chromoplast is the name which is given to an area of all the pigments to be kept and synthesized in the plant. So is the name which is given to the area of the pigments, so which are being synthesized inside the plant. These can be usually found in flowers, in leaves and fruits, because flowers have different colors, isn't it? Even fruits have different colors, flowers have different colors. And it also responsible, chromoplast also responsible for the aging of leaves, and the usually the chloroplast they convert into chromoplast. These are chloroplasts only, but they are being converted into chromoplast. So these chromoplasts have carotenoid pigments, which are responsible for different colors in leaves, fruits, and flowers. So usually there are different colors in the flowers. Why? What is the reason why they have so many colors? Why flowers have different colors, children? What is the use of that? what is, I mean, it's just a casual general question for you. What is the use of the different colors in the flowers? What do the flowers do? What type of organs they have? Why flowers are so important? Apart from attractive color, apart from they are attracting, what is the reason? Why? Can anyone just tell me?
Smells.
Yes?
They produce different smells.
They produce different smells. Yes, they produce different smell and they have attractive color. But what is the use of that? There's a special use of that. Why? What is the use? What do flowers have? You even have learned it in your grade 7. Different parts of flowers, isn't it? A typical flower. You even have drawn it. What is the use of that? What are the different parts of a flower? Yes, anyone? You already have learned it. Okay, I'll just tell you. So the flowers, they have different attractive colors. Why? Because they have, they want to attract the insects. Because you know that insects come in, they sit on there like honeybees. They try to take the nectar from the flowers, isn't it? So these, uh, I mean, like butterfly, moth, and different bees, they come and they sit on these flowers, and they are the carriers of the. They help in pollination. They help in pollination. So these flowers, they attract the different insects by their attractive colors and the smell also. These insects, they are the uh, they help in carrying this anther. And even I have asked you one more question. What are the parts, what, for what the flower is important? The flower is important for its different reproductive parts, isn't it? There are pollen grains, anther, stigma, isn't it? Gynecium and rhizome. So these are the different parts inside the flower. So these parts help in carrying out self-pollination and cross-pollination. There are still, you have learned everything about all these things. So now coming to the point, the main reason for this structure, for the color of the flower, is to attract pollinators. What are the pollinators here?
Insects, ma'am.
Yes, good. Insects. They might be any insect. Either it might be a butterfly, a honeybee, or anything, because they are helpful for pollination. They are carrying these pollen grains from one place to another. And now coming to one more plastid, which is granatoplast. So this granatoplast are basically, they are chloroplast only, but they go with the aging process. They carry out, they are helpful for, they are responsible for the aging process. Aging process of what? Of leaves and fruits. For leaves, leaves usually they fall off, isn't it? They dry and they fall off. They have a certain uh, period. For that particular period, they'll be green in color and they'll be very fresh. After that, they fall off. They have a period of aging. There'll be a process of aging, which the plastids are responsible for this aging process of leaves. What are the plastids which are responsible for the aging process? Yes, it's there on your screen. Which plastids are responsible for aging process? Gerontoplast. Yes. Good. Okay. So which plastids are responsible for aging of leaves and fruits?
Chromoplasm.
Chromoplast. Okay. Good. And what are the plastids which are responsible for photosynthesis?
Chloroplast.
Chloroplast.
Chloroplast. Okay. Good. So here, coming to the aging process. So these chloroplasts are being converted, transformed into granuloplasts. So these are responsible for the aging of the leaves. So this helps in the beginning to convert into different other organelles when the leaf is no longer using photosynthesis, usually in the autumn season. So these leaves, they try to fall down because in this season, usually the leaves, they fall. I'll just try to erase it once again. We'll see a few more. Yes. A few more plastids are there, children. So here if you see leucoplast. So these leucoplasts are non-pigmented organelles, which are colorless. So these leucoplasts are colorless. They are usually found in most of the non-photosynthetic parts of the plant, like roots. Where are these leucoplasts are found?
Near the roots, ma'am.
Okay, yeah, just 1 second. I have kept something else. Yeah, you can see the screen now. You can see the slides.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so
Ma'am.
yeah,
Ma'am, no, ma'am, I'm unable to see the slides.
okay, I'll stop this
We
share.
can see, ma'am.
Okay, I'll connect. Now coming to amyloplast. Sorry, amyloplasts are greatest among all three. I mean, amyloplast, proteinoplast, and iridoplast. In this, again, three parts are there. No need to go in detail about that. So I just want to clear this. 1 second, children. So if you see this, okay, I just want to show you about the, you want to see, is it clear about the chloroplast, children now?
Yes, ma'am.